Hey, Anthony here from the Best in the West. We got a video today. It's a front entryway in San Pedro. I guess you would call this part 3. I showed the demo of the job, and then I showed the garage and the patio and the side of the house. This will be the side of the house, excuse me, and the front entryway. When I come to these houses, this is like a 100-year-old house. What I do is I design it to the neighborhood or to the house. Like floating steps or different stuff, contemporary stuff doesn't fit with the design. So I design it like the neighborhood looks that fits the house, like it would be originally 100 years ago they would have done it, because the house is 97 years old, virtually 100 years old. So we're setting strings, we're widening the driveway. There was a little planter up along it. You guys saw it before. There was like plants, and this was all pavers. The whole job, the front and the driveway was pavers. The next video will be the driveway, but that's how I go about it when I design something or I'm looking at it. I don't do like extravagant stuff at houses that aren't worthy, not worthy of it, but it just doesn't fit, and color schemes and different stuff. And I don't use a lot of color, and for 12, 13 years I poured everything in color, and now I'm just getting away from it. I don't like how it looks a year later, and different stuff. So we're getting our elevations, because if the way the porch and the sidewalk was prior, it'd be leaning to the right, like almost a circus effect. And the house is square, the front porch is square, and I squared it up level, 1% fall. So I had to raise it up, and I had to put a step on either side, to the right, to the left, which it didn't have before. But it looks real good that way. It looks like that's the way they would have done the house when they built it, back in the day. So we're trying all the elevations here out, and that's when we figured out we can't pour it the way it is. So we had to take down the dirt and bring some base in, compact it. This whole job was compacted with road base. I had to put a drain. You'll see on the next driveway, the next job, the driveway I do, and the channel drain in the bottom. So once you get your elevations and you got your string lines, you have a real good visual of what to do and where it's coming down. And you just dig it out with a pick right along the line where you're going to drop the 2x4, get your right height with a smart level or string off the existing snap lines that you did off the porch. And then you just come straight across. I demoed this whole job with this S70. I think I had maybe 5-6 guys on this job. The Miltons and Javier, and the guy with the sledgehammers from Texas. His name's Fernando. He's a nice guy. He came out and helped. A lot of people from YouTube call and want to come out and, I'll work for free, but it's like, I'm not comfortable with that. If you come out and you work, I have to pay you the going rate, so I'm just not going to have somebody come out and work. But if you're learning a skill, or you want me to teach you to pump or do other things, and I've been doing a lot of consulting, and it's in other states. I've been doing like Kansas, Colorado, New York, where they're doing projects, and the project manager or the general's calling me and having me speak to their concrete guy, and then we're zooming the calls when it's set up, and I'll say, no, that's wrong, or it's pretty cool. It's a really good business. It's working out really well. My thing's pumping and Bobcat and demoing and designs and stuff, but I mean, I could tell them exactly how to do it. I know how to do all this stuff. So when you pour these, you there's a couple things you got to do. You got to go off the existing concrete. You got to go off the curb, the slab in the house, and what elevations you already have to work with. And you just go from there. And if there's no fall, you can't get it. You got to try and get it just breaking the bubble on your level, so the water will flow. I think we just did the porch at 1%. It's got push off the roof. It's flowing. This was all pavers prior. We banded up. We put concrete around 1-foot bands around the perimeters, and that design I do a lot. This was a job where I wanted microfibers, and the bro brought me stealth fibers, and I couldn't do the finish I wanted to do. I couldn't smooth trowel the band with that shit in there. It was just that stuff to finish is, I mean, I wouldn't even put it in it, but I didn't know, so we had to broom the whole wall to wall. We couldn't do the offset. Real good soil. This is San Pedro. It's a real old city. It's up above Long Beach Harbor, Queen Mary, and all that stuff. So we're still laying this out, getting the string lines. When you get a job like this, you guys can do stuff like this. It's not very hard once you get your elevations, and you can just put a level underneath the string, break the bubble, water's flowing away. If you're breaking it, it's 2%. If you break it a little bit, if you barely break it, it's almost flat. It's at 1. You can get away with it. you know. But there's no drains or nothing in the property because it slopes straight down the streets on a hill, and the backyard just slopes right off the. That's how Milton digs. He'll dig a gopher. The gopher or beaver would be tripping out on him. This guy can dig, man. Awesome guy, awesome employee. When you have guys like this, that's the key. The hardest thing I found is putting the right team together that knows what they're doing, likes each other, works together well. Because I don't handle the yelling or this guy comes up to me and tells me this guy's doing that, or they're trying to kibosh each other and there's mutiny on the job. I just immediately axe it. I've never put up with that crap. And with a crew like this, we've probably done, before YouTube, Javier and I did a couple hundred jobs together. And Milton came on my job about a year into YouTube. And then his son came maybe another year later, Milton Jr. And then his other son came, this guy right here, Jonathan. He's getting close to finishing, being able to get out there and do it. He's doing it. We vibroplayed this after. I just knocked it down that night and watered it really good to water level. I mean, hit it with a hose and let it self-level, and then we just plated it. It was all compacted pretty good. It did the driveway real good because it's on a real slope. Down at the bottom on a slope, you're going to get a lot of pressure, and you're going to get stress cracks from it shrinking and expanding, and especially when you put a channel drain in, and then there's concrete on the other side, and you'll see the next video. I mean, it doesn't show it, but sure enough, it cracked right off the drain, and I had it jointed everywhere. I poured it thicker. You just never know. I mean, it rarely happens, but it happened. It cracked right on the drain, and then a hairline off of it. And the whole thing's banded and jointed up, so, and thick and with compacted road base. What can I do? And a million of those stealth fibers in it. So what he wanted me to do, he wanted me to chip this below the concrete level because he's gonna take it all off and reface it with stone, with like Arizona flagstone or something. So we weren't worried about what was above my level because he's gonna do it later. And we're just reboring, and we had to run some pipes through in case he wants to hook water or electrical or whatever. So we just stick them through and cap them. You know, here's my forte, the pump. My pump's getting a brand new hood on it right now. That thing rotted through from being at the beach for 20 years, right on the ocean. So it rotted holes through it, and it just kept spreading. I kept trying to fix it, and I got over it. So next time you see it, it'll have a new hood on it. I still have the original hydraulic pump. I want to get a Kawasaki hydraulic pump on that thing. It'll bump it up about 5 yards an hour too, maybe 8. Those pumps are just bad to the bone. I'll get one, but they're like $6,000 installed. So I'm just setting this up. This is real easy day for me. I'm just pumping the whole entryway in the side of the house. Pumps are so vital in California, running wheelbarrows or whatever down that slope on that driveway, or I go to Laguna off hills, and basically you can place concrete. It doesn't matter. They say, oh, it's way over there, up there. I don't really care. Oh, it's 500 feet. It doesn't matter. This pump, that's a shotcrete pump. I pumped shotcrete with that pump for like 3 years. It's got a short stroke, so it'll push anything. And if you shorten the stroke, you're just going to be banging it out. You know, you won't plug. You start to get a 3-foot stroke with a 7-8 inch barrel on it. You know, it's got to have the right motor on it, the right horsepower. You're stroking 3 feet at a time. That pump has a 2-foot stroke. Here's Kirk. He's the guy I use in LA County. I have a guy in LA County, Orange County, and Riverside County. I don't use the batch plants. I use independent guys, which I understand around the country other guys don't have that. Like, they won't let guys with a cement truck go in there and batch and pay them. But here there's so many trucks all over. They just run accounts in there, and they run out of there every day. You know, and the guy Silvestri helped me carrying the hose. He just bought a really nice Olin 545, and I was teaching him how to pump. So I'll be training him. He's local too. He's in Orange County, which is good for him. So we put a little key in that on the edge of that, so it's thicker right there. The whole slab's not as thick as what you're seeing. And you got to get the right mix designs and stuff. And if you're in other states and they don't have the right mix designs, I could give you a mix design pump mix that you could pump 3/4 rock RP gravel that'll shoot through almost every time. Basically, it's the same what I'm using. But some plants in different states, from what I've heard, don't carry pea gravel 3/8. They got like bigger and river rocks and stuff. So probably be hairy pumping with a 2-inch line. That's why you see a lot of guys on here using a 3-inch line with a swing tube, and it's surging and kicking, da-dun, and then it pumps, ba-bum, and you got a gap in between, and it's just surging back and forth and on the forms and everything. We don't roll like that out here, but there's a lot of pumps. There's a pump on every corner out here. Everything's pumped. 90% of the jobs are pumped due to access mainly. But if you can shoot port it and get it in there, you know, I've only done like 10 shoot pours in my whole life on my jobs. It's all pumped, not accessible. So what we do is we get a 2 or 3 foot wet screed off the perimeter, and then we turn and burn and go right down the middle. We go off the wet screed and off the board. And that's basically how we do it here. There's no like pins or marks, or you know how they put a little pile and mark it, grade height or whatever. We can go right off both. We already have a grade, and it's completely flat the whole way through. I think this day was one load, 10 yards we pumped with the front entryway and the side of the house. The next video you guys will love. It's a pretty big driveway, a pretty good one. See that pump? That's turned down, but you see the line how it doesn't even surge, because I have a nitrogen tank on my pump, which every time it strokes and pushes, there's a piston on the back of my pump that goes up with it in unison with it and pumps air in the line as you pump. It's nitrogen. You just get it filled up at the welding shop when it's low, or when you run out. If you run out on a job of nitrogen, you just got to slow it down and pump it piss wet just to get through the job, because that line will yank you on the ground. It's happened to me probably twice. I don't have a gauge empty to full on mine for some reason, but a lot of guys do. I can just tell by how much I pumped, and I go in there and the guy's like, oh, this thing just emptied. So we're throwing a bowl float on it. We use a wooden bowl float. That's Demetrius right there on the left. That's the homeowner. Leaves the surface open, and then we'll seal it up after the water bleeds. But this entryway comes out real nice. You guys will see it. You'll love it. And the porch, he's going to restone it. So a lot of people ask, why do you leave that ugly porch and put all this concrete on there? But it's not the case. I wish I had a video of the fireplace we took down. This is a massive fireplace on the driveway, going up the driveway side. There's Jonathan. He's a rookie. Just much time as you can get on easy stuff like this, that's when we throw him in there. If there's drains and we're just smoking it down, we don't put him on it. He's edging and other stuff. But he's learning the rotting point. That would be point A to start with. So you can get the elevations off the house, stay on the snap line. I brought him out to lift the steel as I go. If you put the concrete underneath where it crosses, there's rocks in the concrete. Even if you step on it, it's not going to go. And people have a misconception. They think, oh, you got rebar in that, it's not going to crack. Rebar has nothing to do with cracking. Absolutely nothing. It's for tensile strength. If a root lifted it, it has to lift the whole piece. If it heaved, it'd have to heave the whole piece. It's all tied together. So 5 yards, whatever you think it weighs a ton, say 1.5 tons for a yard, and you got 5 yards on there, then a root's got to lift, 14,000 pounds. It's not going to happen. It's going to hit it and grow along it on the bottom and duck down. That's the idea of rebar, to keep it as one piece. It has nothing to do with cracking. The fibers will help with the shrinkage cracks, and that's what they're beneficial for. And I've demoed concrete with no rebar in it and microfiber, and that crap holds together. I'm hitting it going, what the heck? And then you grab a piece and look at it, and you can see the microfibers. And you can see how this team all works in concert. It's all choreographed. Everything we're going to do. Who's doing what guy's doing what, who's pulling the hose, who's lifting the rebar, who's bowl floating, who's screeding. It's already set up, even if we had 20 guys out there. And the porch has all got to be stripped because it's got to be faced. Anything exposed, we strip and face it. Yeah, I'm just showing him Silvestri right there how to do everything. He really bought a nice pump. I'd like to have it. If he wants to sell that, I'll buy it. And now we're going to throw a steel Fresno on it and seal it up. And it's just a waiting game. We'll snap all the lines with a string so they're all sitting there. And then we'll wait for that to get ready. Then we'll cut them with a torpedo cutter. And then we'll run the planer joiner through it. And then they skate it twice. They get out on it and they re-clean them, the joints by hand. So it's a 3-point process with the joints. See, we'll cut them with this. We just snap a line. We put it on the end of the pole, put it to the mark we put at the house, and then just put it right on the mark we put on the wood and snap the line. And then he's got a good guide with it. And then it cuts it deep. That's what you want to do. Like you see these guys on YouTube and they're cutting the joints and the things like it's like a 1/4-inch cutter. I mean, that's not how you do it. That's how they're cutting them 20, 30 feet with that light little. It's probably made by Cadillac. No one uses that out here. You got to cut them deep. Otherwise, it's going to crack right next. It possibly could crack right next to the joint you put in. And going across that far with something that light, it's just not going to fly. And you can see the difference of the level of finishers on California jobs on YouTube than everywhere else. Other states are good. I mean, there's a lot of good people. I'm just saying in general. There's a lot of good stuff on YouTube. I seen some guy out of Pennsylvania. I thought he was real good. I don't remember his name. I gotta remember people's names. I saw the stuff he did in the Stampton. He had a nice little operation. There's a lot of guys on there. You can tell who's making money and who doesn't. The person with the least stuff and the right equipment is making the most money and the least overhead. You know. Other people it's just a facade and they're burying themselves. If you saw the real finances and what was really going on, you would look at them like a buffoon. But it's easy to get caught up in that. It happened to me. But I didn't know, and I was young. But that's never going to happen to me again. Because I can get access to massive jobs, and I'm like, no way, dude. And the guys, they're like, why? Are you kidding? I'm like, no, I'm good. No, we'll give it to you. No, I'm good. I don't want anything to do with it. And it's easy to do. I can line it together with 20, 30 guys. I mean, it's no problem. I could demo it out. All my friends have tractors, 10-wheelers. I could get anything, any equipment I want. That's my reputation. I'll just say, hey, I'm going to go to the yard and grab your X. Oh, go ahead, dude. You know, no problem. I'll pump for you later. All right. Stuff like that. I have that kind of relationships. Well, I'm that respected because I'm been around 20-something years, and they've all dealt with me on a business level. And that's how you tell what kind of guy a guy is when money comes into the picture. When you're at the happy hour, everyone's having fun. Everyone's cool. You know, but when it comes to money and they get squirrely, I don't show my cards. I just like, oh, take a note of it. All right. And I just back off and don't take their calls. They get the hint. They know I know. That's the planer we run after to re-clean it out. And then after they got them out on their skates, and they'll retool them with their hand. Tool them. That's why they come out so plush and so clean. No residue inside. They're really nice looking. And the joints is what you look at if you're looking at a guy's work. You know, because you can trowel it and make it look halfway decent even if you're not that good. But you're not cutting straight joints. You're not going into locked in areas and cutting joints where there's no access, standing up on a fence. You know, going in backyards where you got to climb over the fence to get back there and use the moon shoes to get out on it and do it. It's a rare talent. That's the joint pattern we got going, but you'll see it. We broom it A to B because we couldn't smooth trowel the joints. You guys should be able to see those fibers later. You'll see it. I mean, it just looks like it needs a shave. Those things, don't use them on flat work. But I didn't have a choice, and the owner wanted them. So these are the stages that we go about, and it's the same protocol every job. You know, so if you can learn anything from me or whatever I'm doing, I mean, that's good. That's why I'm putting them up, or change a little something from what you're doing. You know, you don't need to cut the stakes down like everyone says, because we go to wet screed off the house and off the other side 2 or 3 feet, and then we just go straight down the middle. It just turn and burn. It doesn't matter. We don't let stuff like that get in our way, or it doesn't slow us down or anything, or you won't hear them say, oh, why didn't you cut the stakes? Whatever it is, they just get down on it. That's how we roll. No one says a word. If I say that's how we're doing it, that's how we do it. You know, and they have free reign to set up and do different things. If I see something I don't like the drain in the driveway, I told the owner, and him and Javier wanted to do it that way, so it's not my call all the time. I don't have to be, right all the time. Not necessarily that I was wrong. It was my opinion and it was theirs, but it was 2 against 1. They win. And I'm fine with it. It's not an ego when it comes to business. I don't take it personally at all. I just simply state what I think, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's what you guys want to do. That's okay. You have to be easygoing. There's no stressed out doing this stuff. If you have the right equipment and you can come in there and just blow it out yourself, demoing it, and bring a couple guys to set it up with a couple laborers to dig and pick, and that's what they do. See, we strip this same day because it's all exposed. So we never leave the forms. And if you don't want to get any honeycombing on something like that, it's so minor, even a honeycombed, we get a half a wheelbarrow. I pump a half a wheelbarrow for any spots we need it to throw it back anyway. But you could just diesel the forms. You could use oil. You can use any kind of repellent. I've been stuck one time. I didn't have anything. I just used WD-40. I had a can of it. It works fine. Anything that'll repel concrete. But this job came out so sweet. You'll see the final product next Saturday when I post the driveway. That'll be the end of this job. See, you can see the fibers in it right there. It sucks to trowel it. It sucks to broom it. It's still cracked. So how good are those things? It's trippy to pump it. It lags in your hose. You can hear it dragging in your hose. But laying this out is no problem. Those are 1-foot bands. I like to either sandblast the center and broom the perimeter, or broom the perimeter and hard trowel the bands. There's many different ways to do it. It's just a preference, whatever you guys like. Whatever the homeowner likes or you suggest to them and they like. But I do consulting for concrete pumping, demo. Right now I'm doing 4 different projects in different states I'm consulting. And I always check it with a level, make sure that bubble is breaking. So it's coming away. So we know for a fact it's not holding water. It's going 1% straight out, and then just the minimum, and then the natural falls to the right. So some goes to the right a little bit into the grass. But always sew your level on it to make sure. Because I've seen jobs where it goes straight back. That's an upper step tool. That's what you need to make the edges crispy and perfect on steps or stuff like this. You can get that at Roseboro Tools in Santa Ana, or Fantastic Tools in the city of La Habra in Orange County. I think, they're both in Orange County. See, there we put it back on everything. Because if we have to, that's what we want. It's pretty close to the minimal. Now we're just going to broom this. We got to go A to B on it, like I was saying. Because of those fibers. You really couldn't get a good burn on it, on the ribbons. And it's got to look good, so those things are really trippy to work with. So this is the front entryway of this house, and the next one will be the driveway, which will be a real good one. But if you guys like the designs and stuff I do, right in there, and if you can get something out of it and use them, you're more than welcome. Bring different stuff to different areas if they don't have it. So we strip all this today. I strip everything when I'm done. No, I stripped it the next day because I still had to do the driveway. But generally when I'm done, I strip everything that day. And see, Milton's brooming the side and use that upper step tool on it. And that's why I see a lot of videos, the side's all wavy gravy. See that? The corner there. But if you get that upper step tool, you can get that edge perfect. And here's the side of the house. Everything came out perfect. We'll zoom up on it. I zoom up on everything we do. There you go. See, it's a perfect job. All but that crack on the driveway, which I'll explain it and show it next video. You won't see it because it didn't happen for a week or so, but I'll show you right where it cracked and why I think it did. But it shouldn't have. It's all compacted road base thick. There's the final entryway there. I hope you enjoyed the video. There's a good look at the work. Leave a comment if you like the work or what you think about it. Thank you very much for watching The Best in the West, and have a great weekend.